Oi, oi, oi. What is this? What is this? Oi, oi, oi. Me retard. Oi, oi, oi. Laney. Oh. Rosehill, Rosehill, Rosehill. Monday night wrap up. What have I got? Me retard. Can't call it that. What happened with these races? Caulfield. Red zone. Red zone reviews. I should call it that. We've got to be nice. We don't want to. We don't want any. Hey, hate bugs. Bug, you're dead. No, 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 no. Ooh, red zone. All right. Rosehill. We'll do Rosehill first. I didn't get a chance to look at Caulfield, but it can't be that complex, can it? Had to be up there and off. I don't want to upset Joe Pride. Say that they handed Private Eye the race. Yeah, Rosehill was, what did they, was it a 7 up to a 6? Don't think it needed the upgrade, but who cares? No, was it an 8 to a, no, it was a 9 to a 9 to an 8. It was about that. Head on in the vein. I'll make sure I watch that. Can you just watch it on .com? Botrix has joined the channel. Here we go. I'll get it up. I'll get it up. All right, Rosehill. Yeah, I think you had to be like 5 to 8 off the inside, ideally. Inside looked like it was holding up. There's a couple of come up the inside like Travolta later in the day, but I think you're still sort of better off in that zone. And then I don't think you wanted to be out wide. So even horses like Captain Fury, I think, sort of came wide. It was weird. You can see J-Mac on a musing tries to cut back to the inside instead of coming to the middle. So I reckon there was definitely a sweet spot there. Jack, g'day. So that's how I'm sort of playing it. I think it's a bit of a feel-ish one for the biases, but I think sort of hard inside was definitely not great. And then sort of 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, definitely the sweet spot. Once you got past that, I think it was a little bit tricky as well. So definitely better to be a little bit up there and then getting to that part of the track. I'll get straight into it because the first few races aren't that exciting.
Ready to run. Gates are back now, the racing, and King Ratel with blinkers on today.
What do we got? This is a dead set nothing race. They go way too quick early. Audrey's Lane has to work its clacker off to get across. It was a complete forgive. Moncana's up there throughout, but settles just in behind. V12 goes okay. Convergent, very one pace. Does look like it wants further. Maybe its chances on dry track, but the race overall is not that exciting. So we'll probably just have one or two quick looks at it.
Back to keep him company. V12 jumped well with Audrey's Lane, and pretty tabbies right there. Moncana's going to camp just behind the leading division in the early stages.
I can't make it that big. So Audrey's pushes on. She's struggling a bit, old Alicia. I thought actually the V12 was good for this reason. Sort of V12 jumps in front, then tries to restrain, gets quite keen, and then gets keen again when Audrey's comes around. So V12's effort was really good for a race like this, I think. So it's just in peak form, probably sort of wet track. This sort of class is about as good as it's going to get, but certainly going well enough to knock one of these races off. So, yeah, sort of once they all settle, V12's in behind, still a little bit keen. Moncana ends up in the absolute perfect. Justella, which runs second, sorry, it's on fourth. Looks like it's going to run second. Convergent on the back. So they're all up there. They're going too quick here. They keep going. They slow down a little bit between the 8 and the 6, but the damage is done. You can still see V12 pulling. So I think it's definitely the one to follow in similar grade. Finally found its groove. And this big bloke just completely gets out sprinted, which is weird because they're not really sprinting home. They're coming home slowish. So, but he definitely wants further and maybe a dry track Convergent. So V12 looks the winner briefly. Justella cuts back to the inside, Convergent down the outside. So V12, yeah, it's a pretty good effort considering it's jumped in front, pulled its ass off, had to come in back behind him, never really settled, and it's still in front with 100 to go. So whether Justella was in the right part or not, probably not, but it's a little bit pace assisted as well. You think the first 4 or even 5, it worked too hard. Audrey's Lane are probably the right horses going to similar grade like this. I thought Big Real was just fair. It's definitely probably a horse that wants 2,000 metres plus, but I still thought it was only just fair. First up. So the first 4 across the line can definitely sort of measure up to midway grade pretty easily. Moncana's just really consistent and honest. V12 is as well, and Convergence is stable. That's tricky to catch and maybe wants further. Justella's probably not going to get out of this grade either. St. Lee.
Down to V12. Moncana with the head in front. Moncana will beat V12. Photo third. Justella went right up the inside and Convergent wide out. Followed in by Audrey's Lane. A gap to...
So that was that race anyway. It sort of said it was a pretty steady race, but that form will hold up for that form. It's weird, this midway form out just doesn't really travel. Even back to Wednesday grade, it doesn't travel. It's really strange. It's only a once in a blue moon does a horse sort of get out of midway grade.
Continues to flash. Okay, we're getting close now. Stand by.
Race 2. Cranich again will probably only have 1 or 2 looks at this. Again, they go too quick. This horse picks up the pieces. I think it's got a pretty good little sprint on this horse. It's just flying, Cranich. I think Michael Mulholland, really, really good to see him pick up a winner in town. Still ran the 10th fastest last 800 of the day. So you'd be dirty if this bloke who got it sort of looked the winner at Dubbo last start and couldn't go past Dion, who's not one that really likes to stick its head out. So, 55th fastest last 200 of the day last start, and then comes out and runs the 10th fastest last 800 of the meeting at Rosehill. So you'd be entitled to be a little bit sick. He must have been the sort of 29 days off, the 6-day back up. He's really in back 100 metres. Hard fit. He's done it. He's timed it very well, Mick Mulholland.
Attendants just working with one of them there as the red light continues to flash. Okay, we're getting close now. Stand by. They're off and
I'm just. Penny's just dropping what Trent's talking about with the head on in the vein. Make sure you don't let me forget it because I've heard he's in a bit of Barney rubble over it. Kickstream died. Is it back or is it dead? It's up for me. Yeah, sweet. That's weird. Yeah, it's definitely up for me. I'm not sure what's going on there. Maybe refresh. I just got tickets into the draw with that too. That's a good effort. Here we go. All right, so Kranich. Dolphus is behind the leader, went all right first up. Ship Shape always does this, sort of runs on, hard fit. Krista was pretty good. Went very well first up off the break. And then sort of backed it up here second up, which was a tough effort. There's a horse in here hammering away that sort of looked like it was unlucky in the light blue with the red cap, but I'm not sold that it had too much more to offer. Point, Jared.
And 2 lengths away to Met Demur. Down the side of the course, Miss Emma is jogging along here from Light Infantry, and Bonnie and Bruce is out.
Yeah, I'll get to that vein. Yeah, I heard that Mellon was in trouble, so I'm assuming that that's it.
Spirits Burn Deep starts a run with Oceans of Energy as they come up to the turn further back to Scopic.
He's been lucky to get away with a few lately. So this is Kranich back behind here. Red with a yellow cap, whatever that is, gold. I'm colourblind. I think that's Krista. This is Krista? I think this is Krista, sorry. And also we got Ship Shapes coming back from back here. Looks the winner for about 3 milliseconds. That's sorry, that's Adolphus. Krista is behind it. Adolphus went pretty well first up. Just these horses out wide here. I'd be forgiving of horses out way wide. I feel like that this definitely wasn't the right place to be. So what's this thing called? Fates to Mars, defeats to Mirs. I'd be forgiving of horses that were right out wide. I think it was really hard to sustain a run out there. So pace assisted win, yes. Time overall is good. Last section is not too bad, even off a fast tempo. So definitely no knock. I think it was cherry ripe, as in absolutely prepped up to win. So I don't think he can go an inch better than that. But still, when it's cuddled up, it's got that nice turn of foot. Just don't want to see this horse having to sort of sustain a run. So I think, very well ridden, whether it was by design or not. Ship Shape's not a horse that I can take seriously in too many races. It just keeps running on and not winning. Adolphus was good first up and Krista was good second up. So, yeah, I think this is okay, this form, and this is the horse to forgive. Fates to Mirs down the outside. This horse was unlucky visually, but I'm not sure about it hammering away. But, yeah, probably interested to see the number 13, Fates to Mirs, go around in a similar race like this. And, yeah, they're at the first 4 across the line. I'm not keen to really follow Ship Shape, but they can all measure up to another highway. Geez, he rode terribly on, was it yesterday? When did Zach? He rode terribly somewhere. It was horrible. We've all got to eat, Slope Hunter. 4 wins, Paul. 4 wins, there you go. Well, I'm glad that he knocked a highway over before he was not eligible. But yeah, that was okay. And take the winner out, it's pretty bunch, so. Next. This was a weird race. Ninja was very soft in betting, kind of had to be, just opened up way too short. I think probably 250 was about right without Pier. 850, whatever it is. He controls the tempo and then gets quite keen. He works a little bit early and then slackens it off between the 8 and the 6, gets control, and then they don't really sprint home overly quick. So Karinska was good from the back, just a typical Waller barrier trial. It was probably the run of the race, arguably, or run of the horse that you'd probably want to follow through its prep the most. What else have we got? Without Pier, looks like it wants further. Was second up off a pretty good win first up, so maybe it was a bit flat. Certainly not sacking without Pier, and I thought Crown the King actually went a lot better than I thought it would. No excuses for Fermoy. Graphic site missed the start. So even though this doesn't look a super strong race on paper, as in times and sections, I think it's not a bad race. Just going to have to be really picky about where these horses end up. Do I do giveaways? I will, but not expressly from Ladbrokes, more from myself. But we'll be doing giveaways. Just making sure this system's working. So at the moment, actually, I'll talk to you about like this. Do placing bets. Here it is. The loyalty bot. It's it's tracking everyone at the moment, so it's at least it's working. Saturday it didn't, so we're working. Tickets, you need tickets. You need me to get quaddies, and then we can all win millions together. All right, Ninja.
1,300 metres. Stand by. We're all set.
The first thing that happens, graphical sight misses the kick. That's basically it. Graphic sight out of play. I think it's a horse that maybe even up in trip again. If it jumps clean, it's sort of an on-pace rolling type. So I don't think a sort of sit sprint out the back was to its liking at all. Karinska's got a much better turn of foot, sustained turn of foot. So I'm forgiving of graphic sight here just because, the intention was to ride it forward, and once it missed the kick there, he was basically out of play. So Ninja doesn't jump that well either, and then Randy shits himself and gives it a dig, and all of a sudden he's up there and he doesn't know what's going on. So Crown the King sort of, he's not in a hurry, and then Randy sort of takes it up. So they're not going slow here. They're going slightly above. So he's definitely working. It's definitely not had the softest lead in the world, but from here on, he definitely gets full control of the speed. So he gets to slow down from the 8 to the 6. Without Peer every chance. Reflect was probably the most disappointing horse in the race behind the leader. Fermoy one out, one back. Karinska's back here with graphic sight. So she comes home really well from the back, and graphic sight, as you can see, even he's a little bit off the bit and niggled. So I thought, his last bit of work, we'll have a look at it. I thought it was okay. So he looks out of petrol here, Ninja. I think he's a next prep horse. I wouldn't be too harsh on him here, even though he just falls in. I thought the effort was pretty good. I don't think there's any top class horses here, but they're horses that'll. Like, he's a big strong bugger without Peer, only having his second race start. I think there's life left in him. Fermoy wasn't terrible, but just definitely had his chance. Karinska works home in graphic sight. So, yeah, I think all 5, 6 of these horses, how many is there? 5, 6, can be placed well and run well. Graphic sight back in distance, up in trip. Sorry, back in grade, up in trip. It certainly interests me. This big bloke, sort of going out a little bit in distance. I'll be surprised if they went on with Ninja much more this prep. I don't know. Don't know if there's a lot more left in the tank. Crown the King looks like he's got a race in him, and I'm sure they'll find a race for Fermoy, but I don't think he's any star. As I said, I thought graphic sight never really, sprints hard, but you can see he just keeps coming at the one speed. So I think he's a horse that needs to get up on speed and roll. He's not a horse that's going to out sprint horses from the back. I've got no idea what you're talking about, Slow Punter. Chrissy, what are you talking about? He's trained about 10 winners in the last week, so if it's Chris Wally you're talking about. I don't have a green screen, mate. I don't have a green screen. Race 4. This is a pretty steady race, as in not much happens. Evenish tempo. They get a little bit of a break from the 8 to the 6 and then come home a little bit above. What was this? Nothing too exciting here. Amarikia. She wants 2,000 metres, I think, if she's going to be any good. Sacred Rocks is okay. Sister Day okay. Pippi Beach gets the absolute best run you've ever seen. Super Norwestern Sunshine Law needed easier for sure. Tuileries. Yeah, I don't know what to do with her. She was caught wide and definitely wasn't easy to sit wide and win on this track. But, yeah, tricky. You don't want to sack her, that's for sure. She can definitely turn it around, but excuses. But I wouldn't want to take short odds about her in too many races unless it had found the perfect race next time out. Yeah, after the race, I chopped out on it here because it was $6 or $7 or whatever it was, and I didn't like a couple of horses, but my best result was Amarikia. I was just hoping they'd go forward, which they didn't. But she didn't really have the speed either.
Pippi Beach is pretty handy. in Sunshine Law right up on the speed.
They don't exactly walk. So Jewellery's, you know, having to work throughout. It's a forgive again. I'm just a little bit jury's out. Sacred Rock's back in the middle there, pulling and sort of getting a little bit keen. Third last. It went okay here.
Super Norwest led by a length and a half. Sunshine Law goes to second. Then Pippi Beach. Jewellery's in a three-wide spot. Sister Day poked through to keep it out there. So Enrique is three wide as well and gets.
We haven't got there yet, Marcus. Next race.
Between runners with Lunar Angel the fence and two after Gently Rolled. 600 metres to go. Super Norwest Sunshine Law. Jewellery's off the course again today, going to third. Then Pippi Beach, Sister Day being nudged along in the between runners.
So yeah, Pippi Beach coming back to the inside. Again, so they get far enough away that I think these horses that cut back to the inside are in decent spots. It's not like, you know, when we look at Peloton in the next, it's sort of forced back closer to the fence. So I don't think cutting back towards the inside was a disadvantage at all here. I think they find the fast ground. Sister Day, Amrikia, Jewellery's all sort of have to go wide. So I think these leaders are in the sweet spot well and truly. And that includes Sacred Impact, Sacred Rocks from the back. Whereas I think Amrikia is out into the slightly inferior ground. So I think her effort's good. I just don't know whether she's this prep, but I'd love to see her get to 2,000 metres at some point and see what she does. She just continually sort of levels. I just love the way she never really quick and sharp, but she just keeps coming. I think that's a really strong attribute, especially when you get out in distance, especially if she can sort of sit a little bit closer to the speed though. But I think this is sort of an absolute birthday present for Pippi Beach, even sort of tempo, box seating behind, you know, a couple of steady horses and being able to hold off the back markers who didn't have things quite their way. She's a very honest sort of Saturday horse. I think that's probably, as you know, she could pinch a listed race or something with conditions to suit. Sister Day was okay. Sacred Rock's okay. And I think she's a forgive out here. Amrikia, I definitely think she wants further. Jewellery's is a forgive as well, but I think everyone will be desperate to sort of back Jewellery's again. Old King Rattel, I think he's close to having a retirement party. Well, not too many Jewellery. She won 2 out of her first 3, so then she was huge at the Gold Coast and she was given a barrier trial first up. So I guess, yeah, well, it was definitely a forgive at the Gold Coast and then it was a forgive first up. She definitely deserves it. Next, the Rosebud. What do we got? Soft tempo here. They don't go quick early. They slow down from the 8 to the 6 and then they come home, but not super fast here. It's just a very average Rosebud by the looks of it. The winner's definitely the right horse. It paraded with good improvement, I thought. I thought Peloton definitely paraded ready to go and well enough. Like it lost its marbles a little bit last prep, and raced accordingly. So I think definitely a more settled horse this time, but I don't think there's significant improvement there. Does go to the wrong ground, got no doubt about that. But I think Skyhook's got significantly more upside. You can see it even jumps well and Karen drags it back in behind him. So instead of sort of going forward, which I think he will be able to do in oncoming starts, I think they just sort of looked after him here, which I think is a great thing to do. I was concerned that he'd sort of have a tough run up on speed here and that might be the end of his prep, but it certainly looks like this is a really nice pipe opener for Skyhook. I think he's a really good horse. So the one scary part is that Grand Prairie's the one who runs second, but basically at its peak, Grand Prairie and Skyhook certainly wasn't. So yeah, they drop anchor here, which I don't think helped anyone. I think the leader went too slow for his own good. Nashville Jack, like he had race fitness on his side and handles the ground. So if I was Jason Collett, I would have been trying to run him along here and test their fitness. he did the exact opposite. He sort of led at a controlled speed and then slowed it right down, which allowed these horses into the race really cheaply. Blitzberg pulled up, I think, 4 out of 5 lane with a significant issue, so I don't even think it's worthwhile forgiving Blitzberg. I think I'd be surprised if we see him at the races again. Hope I'm wrong. Peloton, yeah, in behind here, so he's definitely getting keen here when they drop anchor. And Tommy has eyes to nothing but the inside. He just ends up in a horrible spot with Blitzberg and Peleus outside it. And he commits to the inside really early. I don't think there was any other option. It was just, probably if I was him, I would have tried to lead, to be honest. And you can see, like last race, they sort of the leaders came wide earlier and got to this sort of section. So the horses that cut back towards the inside were pretty much in that Grand Prairie lane, whereas Tommy's hard fence. So definitely not in the right part of the track. Skyhook's just in the sweet spot, I'd say. So definitely not giving him any bonuses for being too wide. He looks like he's the only horse really in the sweet spot along with Grand Prairie. So yeah, but a really good. I just again love to see that he's come back and he's not even though they haven't come home, he's super fast off the back of a slow tempo. He's not a horse, I think, that is suited to this style of racing. He, to me, is a little bit like when we talked about that graphic side earlier, a horse that will thrive up on speed and can build through his gears and quicken, but sustain a run a lot longer at his top and make horses chase him. I think that's going to be his superpower if he's to get to a better level. And it's interesting. There's not many 3-year-olds around, so yeah, I think he's a horse that can be dangerous in a better race. I don't think Grand Prairie will be dangerous in a better race. I don't think Peloton will be either, even though it's up the inside here. I think this is the horse with clearly the most upside in this race. And, 2 and 3 can probably aim up in something similar. I'd be forgiving of Nashville Jack if it went back in grade and found a wet track. I just think it was a pretty average ride. Coolmore, I don't know whether they'll try and get him up to 1400. I'll ask what the plan is with Skyhook. The Golden Rose is going to be so weak that you'd think that they'd probably aim up at that number 1 and see what happens. Cool. Everything seems to be working. That's good. Yeah, HSA likes having 3-year-old in Everest. There's not much else put in there. No, there's not. Going Golden Rose Period. Yeah, cool. I would have assumed that was their option. The Everest will be lucky to get a field. Race 6. They go 100 miles an hour here. Amusing ends up in an absolute perfect spot. They slow down a little bit by the 800 to the 6, but not really. And then they come home okay. The time overall is quick. Travolta gets a perfect run through, whether it's a little bit too close to the inside or not. I'll have another look here. So You Are very one-paced. Pure Alpha sits outside the leader and is a bit of a forgive, and Monarch Spray just went way too quick. There's the tin hat wearing version of myself says this is the second time they've tried to put a race on for Sienna. It's the second time they put a fast tempo on for Sienna, and she went down swinging this time, but I think J-Mac was definitely the difference. Runs the fastest last 800 of the day here, Travolta. Fastest 8 to the 4, 8 to the 2, and last 800 of the day. I wish Lazat was coming out. I can't believe it isn't. I think it failed the other day, didn't it? But I don't think it was coming anyway.
Back last, looping them down the outside, carrying 60 and a half. California Grass now is the last.
So yeah, you don't see this very often. A Waller runner missing the start and driven like this. And then Pure Alpha ends up outside it. Very weird. The 2 Waller runners sort of setting a fast tempo 1-2. You don't see it. It's just you just don't see it. So yeah. Anyway, Amusing, as I said, here in the Godolphin ends up in a perfect spot. Once again, he's just too good, J-Mac. They all reverse park, like So You Are, reverse parks to let him in.
Soldier of Rome, Clark was happy to just sit back a few lengths off the leader, and Soldier of Rome is second. Pure Alpha is doing plenty of work in the early stages, racing up.
Soldier of Rome worked quite hard. I think he was only second up here. He's probably one to keep an eye on. But Amusing just ends up in that absolutely perfect spot. It's just weird. You don't see these two Waller runners free bowling in front way too quick. And Travolta ends up in a horrible spot, but gets the best run through you've ever seen up the inside.
They've got 1,000 metres to go. About as well. So it's Monarch's Brilliant.
This is interesting. I thought this is where I was trying to work out whether the track was better inside, outside, through the middle. When J-Mac here is in an absolutely ideal position to track and come wide around Soldier of Rome and get to the middle, if in his opinion the middle was the right place to be, I think he would have 100% gone there. I don't understand why he's cut back to the inside unless he thought there was a sweet spot, which is part of the reason I think there was one. He definitely could have easily come around the heels of Soldier of Rome there, and he aims to come back through the middle here. So it just looked like he didn't want to come wide.
Pure Alpha, Soldier of Rome. Now up the inside, Amusing with a good run. Travolta as well. They beat off.
So Travolta's nearly wide enough. It might just be one or two shy of the right part of the track, but she did a good job to keep him away from hard up the inside, and definitely flying. Definitely flying Travolta, definitely flying Amusing. Both of them are going to, sort of line up in a similar race to this next time and both be competitive. So You Are looks like a very one-pace type. And Soldier of Rome was only second up there, can probably peak, to a 1900 around Canterbury. If it could find a race where it can find the front next time out, it'll be very hard to beat. Soldier of Rome.
J-Mac came out on top of the end. Amusing won it by...
Yeah, probably needs, and he's eligible for easier races too, but yeah, he just keeps coming, doesn't he? But he never quickens. You can see he just never quickens. He just keeps whacking. So he's going to be a hard horse to catch until he gets out to his right trip.
Amusing and Travolta. Sienna Grimer trying to left Travolta. Amusing stride for stride. There's nothing in it. J-Mac came out on top of the end. Amusing won it by a head to Travolta.
Yeah, so it was a decent race. That form should definitely hold up for similar. It's only benchmark 78, but, Wednesday race in a couple of weeks. 1900 at Canterbury. That'll suit those sorts of horses. It's a good race. Hang on, I feel like I'm going to sneeze. How much sneeze would be bad. Controlled tempo here. They drop the anchors between the 8 and the 600 metre mark, and then they sprint home okay. What have we got? You've got Land Legend running the second fastest last 600, fastest last 400 of the day. I don't think many people would have been expecting Land Legend to be the horse setting those sort of late sections. Runs home 9 lengths above standard, above average for this grade, the last 400 metres. So shows how well he's gone. Just an absolute, well, he's probably been told to go out and give it a barrier trial, right, and just settle the horse. So you would have expected nothing else. If you're backing it, 60 to 1, Jesus Christ, I didn't realise it got to that. But absolute tragedy if you're on it. It should have won. And, I'm sure that he was just riding to instructions, but if he shows any sort of, I don't know what you want to call it, awareness to how slow they were going and just tries to toe up 3 wide at the 800 metre mark, the horse probably just wins. But, yeah, very good effort. Land Legend. Birdman sits 3 wide with cover. War Eternal, just the best turn of foot in the race, basically, even though it didn't run the fastest 8.642 of the race. It just sort of that 6 to the 200 metre mark had a sharper turn of foot and was able to hold them off. How Gold Hope, terrible ride. Oh, in a bad spot. Let's just put it that way to be nice. Diamond Diesel went really well, actually. It's actually flying, loving these soft tracks, and Kinesiology goes back up the inside. Adelaide River sits wide on the slow tempo, so it's up to you sort of how you handle him, whether he was a forgive run or whether he's just a pass mark or a good effort first up 1400 sitting wide. There'll be differences of opinions with a few of these runners. I think Birdman's the one that I think everyone's got too carried away with. I think he was the one most suited by the slow tempo and the spot that he found in the run.
And jumping sharply was Palmetto, landed in front, but quickly
So this is Land Legend out the back. He's definitely shown, he's definitely just dragged him out, which is definitely a plan. Just all about trying to get this horse to settle for sort of Caulfield Cups and Melbourne Cup. So he's definitely an abnormal horse. That he's got a huge. He can do things that horses can't do. So he's a nightmare. But yeah, and you just got to be worried that he's going to be too well found now. But gee, he's got an engine. If he does the right thing, he can win any race in the country if he does the right thing. Sort of 2,000 metres plus. Our Gold Hope. 3-4 back the fence. I was hoping that he'd be a little bit more positive, but as soon as Ang Power crossed, you knew you were in trouble. Ang Power sort of dropping back on his lap was never ideal. War Eternal sits outside. That's Birdman back there, 3 wide with cover on the back of, what's it called? Adelaide River. This is Kinesiology, which ends up back towards the inside. Diamond Diesel and Land Legend out the back. Yeah, I'm the biggest anti-earmuffs person in the world, but if any horse needs earmuffs, it's this horse. Agerwood clip. I'll have a look. Can you remind me later? He's just an honest horse, War Eternal. He had a long break too. I think he's had a few issues, so. But this was his absolute golden goose race. 1400 metre race with all these stayers resuming. So this is where I knew that I was in pain on Our Gold Hope. When he's coming to this spot, you got the favourite outside him. Ang Power not likely to go anywhere. Semyon not likely to go anywhere. Highlights in a bit of trouble. Palmetto, yeah, like it was just in the wrong spot. It was, and they weren't coming wide enough to create that inside run that you wanted to take. So, you know, I don't know, Tommy's aiming for a run that was never there. Ang Power shifts in front of him. I was surprised that Jay Ford didn't get in trouble for that, but he didn't. He got a, he sort of took his time and then steered into a run. But anyway, Kinesiology back to the inside, and here's Land Legend. So I'll go back, sorry. What I thought, where I think his ride's very poor is here. He can easily get on the back of Birdman. Here, easily get on the back of Birdman. And by the time he lets Diamond Diesel get up and dictate to him, he's completely shot on Land Legend, and he ends up going up straight at the back of Kinesiology and State of America. So I think that's where he lost the race completely. If he was on the back of Birdman here, I think he would have won for sure. And he stopped the horse's momentum, which is a big part of why I think it was such an enormous run. Not that anyone in the world has missed it, but horses like this horse don't sit and sprint off a 1400 metre soft tempo after they sort of get their momentum halted. It's nearly impossible. And on a wet track, it's just crazy what this horse has done. It's just not a normal horse. So Adelaide River whacks away all right out wide. Again, to get to the wrong part. That's the other part. Diamond Diesel's probably in the wrong part of the track. Here comes Land Legend around their heels now. And Our Gold Hope never really got warmed up until the race was over. So, yeah, it was a missed opportunity for Our Gold Hope, I believe. Christmas Day for War Eternal, and just really strong returns from, can't knock Birdman, but I think it'll be overplayed. Kinesiology was really good, I thought. Adelaide River, I thought, was good personally. I've got no problem with its run first up off a long break. 3 trials, like a little bit one-paced, which is, you know, because they probably over-primed it for the first up run. I think he's dangerous, and Land Legends just come back like a rocket. Worth looking at that race pretty closely, because they're obviously that race will feed a lot of strong races going forward. Yeah, that's the horse that Tyler sat that last on. They were going 100 miles an hour, and he whipped around him and then nearly went through the running rail, and then balanced up and ran away from him again. What do earmuffs do? They basically, if you put earmuffs on yourself or cover your ears and you run, it just dulls your senses really heavily. That's why I hate them, because it takes forever. So if you've got dulled senses and then all of a sudden, you know, someone hits you or whatever, you don't feel it as much. You don't, you know, if you're used to responding, you don't respond as quickly as you would without them. And that's the idea of them to a certain degree. So 90% of horses, it settles them down and stops them overreacting. But then if you're in a sit-sprint situation like this, or a sprint race more than a staying race, and you're asked to do something quickly, all of a sudden you're in no man's land. So, you know, I wish they were a bit like the trots, that they could pull them off when they needed to. That'd be interesting. But yeah, there's pluses and minuses to earmuffs, and for me, the minuses far outweigh the pluses. But certain horses like this one obviously benefit from them, and I think sort of a mile plus wet tracks, they're not as bad as well, because you've got more time to respond and kick in, and you can conserve energy with them for sure. It's just when you in sometimes they sort of ride a horse a particular way, and then they wonder why it doesn't quicken, and it's the earmuff. So for me, you've just got to be really careful with horses with earmuffs, especially in sort of 1,200 meters below or 1,400 meters without tempo. Race 8. Whoa, this is a good ride. If Ben Mellons was no good, this was not much better. How big can I make it without making it? I think it's this stupid way that, look at this stupid way that Racing New South Wales set this up, that I can only make it giant or tiny. I'll make it giant. So this is J-Mac here on Captain Furai. He comes out with a dead set vice-like grip on it. And if you want to read the steward's report, I won't bother pulling it up, but he basically says that he comes out and says that too many other horses were going forward inside him, so he made the decision to go back. Well, he gets a little check there, but look at the grip that he has on the horse straight away. Like, no horse has shown any hand. There's not any one jockey showing any vigor. They're all actually grabbing hold. There's not one horse driven out of the gate. Not one. And last time these two horses clashed, Fully Lit and Captain Furai. Captain Furai led Fully Lit, well, sat outside the leader. Elson's Boy and Fully Lit sat in behind them. So you just watch him here. He's in here in the black cap. How quickly he grabs hold. Bang, he's already got hold of him. He's already dragging him out of the race. And he just continues to drag him back, drag him back, drag him back. And you see, like, the horse outside the leader here, Code in Time, is not a fast horse. He's looking for a sit. So what infuriates me here, I backed the horse early, is that it was, you know, when it was $6 or something into $2.30, they don't ask more questions. I don't care about the result. I do, but I don't. It's not why I'm angry. They need to interrogate this situation more than what they did. They really need to give punters a better answer about this than what they did, because he would have ended up, you know, up outside Code in Time. Punton would have rolled 40, ends up 1 out and 1 back. I'm not saying he would have beat the leader. The leader goes like a rocket, but this is not just a bad ride. This is disgusting. This is disgusting, and he continues to drag the horse even further back. Anyway, Punton ends up outside Fully Lit, who gets handed the front. They go even sort of tempo to the 800 metre mark, and they really slow up from the 8 to the 6. So he gets full control, and then he sprints home really sharply. So the race was over by the 600 metre mark. Fully Lit just needed that. Not like, obviously wants drier ground, but this is sort of better surface, I would call it, where it doesn't have rain on the day and just nightmare conditions like last start. So he obviously appreciated the the better ground. Anything Goes runs second. In behind, it was its Christmas Day to run second. Punton runs third. Denman Star gets dragged back here. I thought its effort was really good. It gets dragged back the same as Captain Furai does. So, yeah, similar grade for Denman Star. It can run well again. You can see here, like, this is when they're putting the sprint on now. They're starting to pick up the tempo, and Denman Star and Captain Furai both in negative spots, not being able to do anything. So, you know, it's game over for them well and truly by this point. Punting back in distance was really weird. I don't know what they'll do with him. So Captain Furai's here out wide, and this is Denman Star back towards the inside. Oh, Ziggy wasn't bad either, back towards the inside as well. I thought it was a good first up run from it.
At the 150, 3 lengths clear from Punton. Then Denman Star, Anything Goes. Captain Furai and Starman making some ground, but Hieronymus has pulled their pants down.
So what I'd say here is that I think this horse will definitely be overplayed. The only good thing is he's finished 6th with a gap behind him. That's a good thing. Apart from that, he might have been in the wrong part, but he's a dead set wet tracker and he's pretty limited for mine. So I'd be wary of him next time, because I think everyone will be pretty angry with that ride and say it was a complete forgive. Everyone will find it and it could go around under the odds again. So yeah, I'd be wary of being too forgiving of Captain Furai, but I think the ride definitely needed a lot more looking into. I think they definitely need to look at betting in the race and give it the all clear. I'm not saying that he did anything untoward, but I'm just saying it needed that level of investigation before how bad the ride was for the level of the jockey. He literally just gave it no winning chance. So Hippo pulled their pants down up in front. Fully Lit was a good win. Strong enough race, and if he gets similar conditions, there's no reason he won't do something similar again. Denman Star, Forgive, we talked about it. Punting back up in trip. And Captain Furai, not much good. It was a terrible placement from Punton, I would have thought. Yeah, did you like that, Paul? That he came out and literally said he was told to ride it in a midfield position, which is a clear change of tactics. They didn't even ask about that, and then he rode it even further negatively. So it was bad all around. Yeah, and that was another reason, Jack, sort of good to pick that up. Was another reason why I thought getting out to where he is and wider, there maybe that part of the track is a bit of an issue, because he did blunder near the 150 when he looked like he was sort of letting down. And maybe that, see, there he goes. So maybe that part of the track was a little bit inferior. But yeah, I thought the Stewards were the worst run in that race. Second last, Malcoop. This horse is a better horse than what I gave it credit for. Sits outside a solid speed here. They sort of go even, and then come home above average. So the race is okay. The win's good. Sits outside the leader after being ridden positively early. Just a super hard fit horse, racing extremely well. Polyglot comes to that arguably wrong part of the track after sitting 3 wide with cover. Catch the Glory every chance. Rosalind Star was really good. Just concerned that it could be flat off this run. The run of Poker Jack, you know, has to be seen to be believed. We'll watch the replay there. And Regimental Colours was a forgivable run. Use a pin. It was weird as hell. It's just a strange run. Use a pin. It sprints into the race like it's going to win, and then nearly drops dead the last 200 metres. Mogul Monarch was very average, just okay return, and Ravenclaw pulled up with an issue. So, yeah, slightly, you know, this race is, again, this will probably be a Wednesday race in a couple of weeks. And that's where most of these horses will end up.
To grab it again today. Okay, Rosalind Star jig-jogging around there behind the start as Polyglot has gone on from the start gate. All in now, run there, off and racing.
So good speed, Rosalind Star was first up for like 400 plus days. So, you know, really good effort. Polyglot outside it, inside it. This is Malcoop, rolls forward, sits outside Ravenclaw. Catch the Glory in the middle there. Regimental Colours just really, after missing the start, never gets into a good spot, always over racing. This is Poker Jack back here. It ends up running up the back of him. Gets last in the black and red. It probably should have won the race, Poker Jack. It's hard to argue it definitely shouldn't have won the race. So
they're not really strung out here,
considering it's a softish tempo. So wide, no cover, good. Outside leader, can't knock it at all, wins the race strong. Every possible chance, Catch the Glory. Every chance, Mogul Monarch. Use a pin here is the one who sort of sprints sharp and then drops it dead. Poker Jack's back here. Watch it through the line. Polyglot gets out to that middle section. And I just think maybe out here was not ideal. And it was just a pass mark first up. And Regimental Colours talked about just a complete forgive. I don't think there's much between these horses ability-wise. It's kind of where I'm going. Rosalind Star's definitely the horse to follow. I'm just concerned that backing up off this run too quickly could be a negative. And here comes Poker Star. So after getting flattened and dragged out of the race and whatever, Poker Star runs up behind him. He's a good little wet tracker. Yeah, I don't think it's really, you know, this horse can definitely win a race like this and maybe get to a better race. This horse can definitely win a race like this. He's flying. Catch the Glory, that's about, you know, as nice a run he's ever going to get. So he probably needs things to go wrong with the other horses like this to win a race. Poker Jack's hard to catch, but he was arguably a good thing beat there at a big price. And Regimental Colours deep into its prep. It is a similar horse to, I think, say, a Catch the Glory. Doesn't have a lot of upside this prep, but you know, if things go his way, he can knock over a race like this. Mogul Monarch I want to be forgiving of because I think he's too good a horse and trialling well leading into this. I probably want to see him back on a better ground maybe. I think this race is okay. I think it'll feed. I think plenty of winners will come out of it. And, you know, sort of Polyglot. Surprised if it didn't win a race in the next couple if it's placed in similar grade. And same for Rosalind Star. Yeah, Braith's a bit hard to catch too, right? Braith's putting in a few funky rides as well. War Eternal. Done there. All right, last race. Up and off's the place to be. So what do? They hand the leaders the race in the last. They go out quite slow to the 800. They slow down even further to the 600, and then they zip home in, you know, as fast a time as anyone did on the day. So Cloudland was good. Perfumist was terrible. I after the race is a genius, but I did sort of mention it in my write-ups before the race. I get really concerned when horses have long extended preps. And then trial too well, as in it did. I just want to make it. I'll show you what I mean. Bit of sort of how I look at races anyway. So last prep had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 runs last prep. Ended up going over to New Zealand at the end of that prep. Had a lot of hard racing. Sort of it raced really well through the middle of it. Reached a peak, then sort of backed off, and then they still took it to New Zealand. To me, that's really hard to, you know, that's a long racing prep. And I think horses can come back from that, but I think more often than not, they take a few runs to come good, or they don't come up that well the next prep and they need another break. I find not many horses can, I don't know what it is, whether their bodies hold on to something. I don't know. It's just hard to sort of get them back up and running. And what I was really concerned about was Parfumist trialing too well. And when I would say too well, like a bit of a lawnmower run. So this is its trial, and it's sort of a horse that you expect to contain its energy. It's a sit sprinter that its superpower is it can relax and then sprint. And when it sort of gets to the trials here and wants to run too much and sort of run too fast, I know Bjorn's horses can often win trials by big spaces, but this horse to me was just it just trialled too well. It just got away from him a little bit, and I didn't really like that. I probably should have been harsher on it, to be honest, but it's just going to get such a nice run in this race. I thought if it was up to its best, it would have won. So the jury's out for me whether that horse has come up this prep or whether it's going to take a couple of runs to come back, but either way it was terrible here. Cloudland was good, set outside the leader. Lord Penman was good first up with the earmuffs on. Bunker had every chance. Gatsby's gets keen, 1 out, 1 back. The money for it was insane. I'm still trying to work out what's going on there. I thought my tin hat was on again, that with Molly Burke on it, that maybe the new king of the apprentice girls Chris Waller has put her on one to get a win for her. Geriatrics was given a barrier trial first up and went quite well as well. So let's have a look.
Along with Perfumist. The parade. There's the light. Gates are back now.
A change of tactics on Cloudland, really smart. They roll forward, sit outside Parfumist. I actually thought that Bunker Hut might sit outside the leader, and I'm not suggesting it would have won if it did, but I would have preferred it sitting outside the leader. So Gatsby's is quite keen in behind here. This is, what's he called now? Lord Penman back towards the inside. And Parfumist just doesn't perform anywhere near up to its capabilities. Gatsby's is a bit of a suck for mine. The horse you to be worried about. Lord Penman was good, especially with the muffs, as you sort of said, off a sit sprint tempo. See it sort of hit a flat spot. I think it peaked late too, so I could see it improving for sure. And Geriatrics, as you sort of said, back towards the inside there. A complete barrier trial. So, hard fit horse in the right spot. That's as good as it goes, Cloudland. I think that's as good as Bunker Hut goes. And these horses, well, this horse just had a barrier trial. This was first up. So they're the two horses with upside. It'll continue to race in similar form, I'd say. So will Bunker Hut. But Geriatrics, yeah, you can see it at the start and through the middle of the race was just allowed to flop out the back and never took part. You can see him sort of restraining back towards the inside here, just giving it a full-blown barrier trial. A little bit similar to Land Legend.
Lord Penman's Cloudland from Bunker Hut. Lord Penman with the last shot of them. Cloudland is all out, scrubbed up, wins just. Cloudland by a long neck to Lord Penman hitting the line hard. Bunker Hut third.
Lord Penman got a good pedigree for 2000. I'm sure he'll be ending up towards that. Yeah, I still don't, Paul, I see what you're saying, but it went off the tempo and it just went too bad to be true. It went too bad to be true. So sort of warning signs were there for me that it might not have come up this prep. And I get what you're saying. It's gone 78 listed, beaten 3. And so why has it got what they gave it? They gave it 5 points. They gave it 6 points for what? What's happened there? How did it carry 55 in a... Oh, it's a open 78. And then carried... And they gave it 6 points for running second and then whatever the fifth is. You said been harsh to it. Very rarely, Jack. Like Land Legend probably should have won. But very rarely. And it's more intent. Like he literally doesn't care if they win. He just wants to give them an experience, let them go through their gears and whatever. So, yeah, it's a shame because that shouldn't be how racing is. They should have to try, if that makes sense. And if they don't, they should get in trouble for it. Because they definitely do cross the line. Have a look at Caulfield. I haven't done these races. Actually, I haven't reviewed them. So you can review them with me. What's the vein? I've got to get the head on for the vein. Hang on. Who wins the race? For Rivia? No, Jimmy Ricard. What's all the blow up about that Lady Shenandoah's not going there or something? Does it show, how do I find Steward's Vision? Here, do I go to, here it is. We've got no sound. Do they not have sound on their Steward's Vision? All right. So what's Melamon? Shaggy. Mate, the ride on my Gladiola was disgusting. I was on it. I mean, it was a bit of a wall of pipe opener, though, wasn't it? So Jimmy Ricard behind with, and you see the totes, they were insane. What it paid like, what's it SP? At SP 385, and I think it was like 280, 290 best tote. It was a huge go. I was on Tycoon Star. I thought it was home for your life. I thought Jimmy Ricard would start $7 or $8 here. I couldn't believe when the totes came up. How much do you want to have on Tycoon Star at this point? All right. Oh, wow. Yeah, okay. Holy shit. Holy shit. Holy shit. That's pretty bad. That's not good. That's not good. We'll have a look at that on anyway. So they go slow there, slow down even further from the 8 to the 6, so it's a really slow tempo.
They're ready, and away they go, and Hay Street jumped away well. With also Shining Smile and Shaggy makes a line of 3 in the early stages. Tycoon Star behind those horses. Jimmy Ricard Kirk 50 out. Shaggy has the Ricard next and has a train away to.
Yeah, so they absolutely walk.
Behind them, Tycoon Star the centre up at the end.
Who's the one who runs third? Son of Kirk, is it? No, Express Class. So this come out of that race at Sandown where there was about five horses tipped. They were absolutely declared, and this thing soared down the outside and won well. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it was a very, very good horse. Tycoon Star, yeah, gets poleaxed. Probably wins if that doesn't happen. I would say it nearly certainly wins. Son of Kirk gets a nice run through. Holy shit, hits the line well, doesn't it? Yeah, I agree with you. Very, very, very good run. Very good horse. The problem is it's got to get old mate P. Maloney off its back. Very good, very good. I think Jimmy Ricard's a very good horse as well. I think all three of these are pretty good animals. No big knock on Son of Kirk's only had a few starts, but yeah, I do agree. It went very well. Scoots into me on Twitter. Holy cow. That was, yeah. That was something different. He's got to get. I don't even want to have an opinion. It's that obvious. What does the stewards report say? Do they have stewards reports in Melbourne? Or is it just like the Wild West? They just do what you like? Yeah. I think I read it. How do you find it? Stewards report. Here we go. Shaggy, Ben passing the 300 made contact when questioned regarding his riding around the home turn. Ben Mallam explained that he walked the track prior to the race and was of the view that the ground away from the rail superior. He felt being supported for that reason. How did he not get time? Oh, a betting overview of the race will be conducted. So they've adjourned it. Here we go. Pled guilty to a charge of careless riding under the provisions that near the 300 he shifted. Was bumped, became unbalanced, which is hampered. Hay Street, all right. So what did he get? 11 days. No, 8 days. He only got a week. He got 7 days for that. Man, he's lucky not to get 7 months. That's unbelievable. That's unbelievable. Yeah, we'll probably see a couple of those horses end up in Sydney. It'll be interesting to see if Express Class makes it because it's only first racing prep. But if the stable weren't tipping at 40s on debut, you'd be pretty angry because he's a very smart horse. And he beat Favia, who came out and won, right? For Rivia. What do we got here? Another race where, oh, there it goes. Sort of evenish tempo. Don't do anything too special. Come home. A little bit above. Yeah, My Gladiola was good. Scenic Point was never in the right spot. Still disappointing. Betting suggested it wasn't going to do a lot. Custom was a bit of a sad story. It was the one I was on for my balls at 25-1. And I was on My Gladiola. But it was a bit that sort of a day. And so a horse that's normally got really good speed and they rode it out and it's jump outs and everything. It's just strange to be dragged out of the race, but what can you do? I thought Willow's ride was pretty average on the leader. He just sort of drove it mad the whole way. I don't know why he was so hell-bent to sort of put mad pressure into the race. He's a good horse, this Ferrivian. I think he was lucky he got that run through and stole my run from Custom. He sort of just got knocked around then, and that sort of just put her off a game enough. But he's a horse that I think wants 1,400 metres on speed, build. I think he's a pretty smart horse himself. I just think he wants a little bit further. Yeah, ugly race. The day was a bit weird. Very good return, My Gladiola. Very good return. Not return, run by Favia. I don't think Customs was anything good thing beat or anything crazy like that. I'm not suggesting that at all. It was just a big price. And I'd be forgiving of the leader, but I don't think it's any star. I think it wants 1,400 as well. Playwright was coming back on the line. It's interesting. Probably ready to go next time out. Forgive Signature Scent, forgive Scenic Point. Where was Tisworthy in the run? Tisworthy was back and wide. It wasn't bad either. The race would be okay. I don't think there's much between a lot of these 3-year-olds, especially the fillies, so it'll be a case-by-case basis. Did play up at the gates. Friedman treatment on race day. Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah, Scenic Point. Well, gate 1 was just diabolical for Scenic Point. Do you know exactly what's up with the Friedman camp having to withdraw horses? They said that the vet nebulized a couple of the horses that were supposed to run, so you can't have any sort of race day treatment. I don't understand enough to suggest what nebulizing a horse is in general. I probably should have renamed the stream, right? Yeah, so I know that that's obviously breaking the rules, and that's why the horse had to be scratched. I just don't know if there's anything more that, if they could put something special in the nebulizer, or if it's just like it is for a human when it's like asthma and it's just opening your airways and helping you breathe better. I don't really know. Yeah, I think it's more for a horse. I think it's more of like a sort of face masky situation. I don't know if it's just I don't know enough about it to comment too much, but that's apparently what happened. Pop Awards race. This horse went better than I thought it would, but it did have the absolute dream run. Another race where they sort of go along even, slacken off a little bit, come home quick enough. So the race overall's okay. But, yeah, well, actually, it definitely went better than what I thought it would. Sort of, at first glance, it was the right horse, but then I thought, where's it going to get to in the run? It had the absolute dream runs its last few starts in much easier races, but it gets that run again here, but it puts the race away quite well. I don't know what was going on with Arkansas Kid. I don't know why He went back there. Probably could have ended up, outside Pop Award, or even maybe if he got lucky, slotted in behind it. 3 wide with cover, I think it would have won. I'm not sort of sure why they dragged him right out of the race. To me, he's not a horse that can sustain a sprint from back there. So even though he launched down the outside, he was always going to peak heavily on his run. So, yeah, I thought it was a really strange ride on Arkansas Kid. So to me here, it's sort of first up, just a horse recommendation, south of India. So these 3 horses are not in the race, basically. Brudenell's in the worst spot it could possibly be, third the fence. Royal Insignia's in a tough spot, and Arkansas Kid's been dragged out of the race. So the only horse that can really is in a good position and can win at this point is Pop Award. And then the gap opens for it. Royal Insignia forced back towards the inside, and Arkansas Kids had to circle from the back. So, I'm not taking a lot away from the winner, but I think it did have a lot in its favour, as in Royal Insignia forced back to the inside. Arkansas Kid had to sustain a long run. But she's not weak on the line, so I'm definitely not saying she's a horse to gap next start. She's a horse that tries really hard, continues to hit the line, continues to go up in grade and race well. So I just think it's a bit of a neutral race, just a complete forgive of Royal Insignia. What you see is what you get with Arkansas Kid. Just a good effort, but a better ride. It probably should have finished a little bit closer. Yeah, I agree with that, Braz. But it's literally setting your horse an impossible task. Maybe they thought they'd go quicker. Glitter Silver's just an honest horse, isn't it? Just an honest horse. Poor thing's bloody had a lot of racing. Alrighty, next. This will be the last race we look at. Nash, wow. So Evaporate runs what? Moira runs the fastest last 6 and 4 of the day. What's his horse? Anisette runs the second fast. So the 2 Waller mares for Yulong run ridiculously fast last 6 and 400 metres here. Pinstripe does as well. Evaporate runs fast sections as well, sort of locked up, and Desert Lightning too. So, yeah, it's to be expected when they've gone out 8 lengths below standard for this class to the 800 and then dropped to 11 lengths below standard to the 6. So they've even anchor dropped off the back of a ridiculously slow tempo. I think Nash actually nearly stuffed up by going too slow and allowing the horses into the race, and he didn't even get going until sort of 200 metres out. I think he nearly muffed it up going too slow himself, because he actually ran the third fastest last 200 of the race. Too many sectionals here for my liking, but what I'm saying is he actually nearly got out sprinted. He nearly pulled one too many rabbits out of his hat, Nash. I think he cuddled him for too long. I'm not even going to watch the last because I'm not coming to terms with that horse getting beat. Another race where they absolutely walk. So whilst the pattern certainly looked like it might be an issue, and here's here to me, earmuffs first time. It just dulls their senses. They can miss the start. They can do all sorts of things. So this horse had earmuffs first time. So Nash, doing what Nash does, takes full control of the race. Straight to the front. Evaporate in a horrible spot the whole way. Desert Lightning, if it was mine, I would have been trying to lead on Desert Lightning, but another day for it. So this is where I think Nash should have started to roll, and he didn't. And he let all these horses get within a length of him, and he must have nearly shit himself here at one point, but luckily the horse has got the class to kick back in. And poor old Evaporate can't take the runs. And again, not saying it's completely the earmuffs, but it just hurts horses when they're not nowhere near as sharp. So if those muffs come off, this horse can improve. But yeah, basically it's a glorified barrier trial for all these horses. They're all pretty much pass marks. They've all done a good job. Basically, the winner's best suited by the sit sprint. It's a supreme 1200 metre horse. So, you know, they were never going to beat it unless Nash completely fell asleep after the first half of the race. Yeah, it must be Laney. That must be why they're putting the muffs on him. But to me, they're a balancing act. I much prefer the pre-muffs. What happened? Nash got more. Nash got what time for what? For shifting? He won't care. He won't care. So what races are on this week? I don't really have time to go through them, which I normally will, but I want to test two things. Does that, what if I do this? Does that come up down the bottom? Oh, see that? We've got to have that. We've got to have these. We don't want to get in trouble. We don't want to get in trouble. Horse racing. Where do they have the here? Futures. So what have we got? Wink Stakes, Silver Shadow Stakes, Show County. Jesus, we've got a million races. Cairns Cup for Scoot. Carline. Oh, we're back to Moonee Valley on Saturday. Holy cow. All right, let's have a quick. Oh, you can't. Why won't it let me do that? Oh, isn't that rude? They won't let you open. Oh, shit. Here we go. Vicestina will always be vulnerable here. Robusto's the one that stands out as a horse that's ready to go, but he's just not much good. He's like, it's a bit like War Eternal last week, but he's just not much good. Gringotts will probably be tuned up, ready to go. Another will be dangerous fresh. Agar Wood in the Silver Shadow. Ah, okay. I'll have a look, Clip. I'll have a look at Agar Wood. I've got about 2 minutes in me, so I'll have a look. Silver Shadow. Which one's Agar Wood? Apocalyptic's the thing that Reggie rode. Search. I can't get Reggie off it. Which one's Agar Wood? Why can't I remember it? I should remember it. I think I have my balls on it.
Barrier 2 for the favourite. All clear from behind, they're racing. Got a reasonable start, Agarwood, but musters quickly. Away from Avon Calling is behind the inside of Pen. Agarwood drew about a half in front of Pen Pal.
That's right, and then Pen Pal came out and pissed in after this. Yeah.
To go is streaking away now. Oh, she's too speedy for them.
Yeah. I'll find out how it's going.
Ready to run. So's my team of the year, that after the year on the outside of back into Providence first of all. So they struck my team and opened up by Leaded Affairs only plotting. Agar Affair warming up and it's all over. But Agarwood is going to lead all the way from Matima.
They took it to Goulburn to trial it?
Surpasser out wide. Sunday Punch stands well. And they're often trialling now. Agar Wood, but your Grace is out deeper, followed with it. But Agar Wood leads them up to the home. Then there's spent 200 metres. It's 4, 5, 6 in front, but speeding away is Agar Wood. Agar Wood comes down for a very impressive trial. It wins by 4 or 5. Second, Curie. Third, Celestial Grace. Mineral Resources made ground the inside from Surpasser, who was okay at its debut trial. Next up, in behind them was Knight of Rhodes from Sunday Punch and Inian. Agar Wood. Boy.
They took it to Goulburn. They must be worried they weren't going to be able to get a second trial into it.
And now there's a couple of additions.
Bloody fast, isn't he?
down the outstairs left to go. His name once it
Just a real professional.
didn't get the additions. I apologise. Number 9's going to win the trial. And
Ready to go. He's going to be fast. He's going to be up there. How far is the Silver Shadow? 1100? Jimmy? I'll find out how it's going. 20 mil today. Don't say that. I don't want any more rain. $1,200. Yeah, I don't think that's a problem. Went 1,000 to 1,200 on a heavy 18 at second start, so I don't think it'll be a problem. 1,200 fresh, but I'll find out. Stay close, Clib. I'll let you know. I actually looked at I thought it was not as bad. I thought it was like 3-4 mils each day, but it must have got worse. All right, I got to run a little bit quicker than normal. Thanks, guys. I'll be doing this the whole way through the spring now, as you can see. Bless our friends at Ladbrokes, our new friends. Everyone's accumulating tickets, which is good, right? So I'll show you that before I go again. So once I get this piggy bank business up and running, 161 tickets, Restream's winning. That must be all the people that come through Restream, so I've got to work out how to work that out. But yeah, there you go. Mighty Slow Punter, 25 tickets, Saintly. So that'll, we'll get that working and then hopefully start betting from Wednesday. Actually, that's the other thing I've got to talk about briefly. Anyone who wants to do that pot thing. So what I'm going to do is those hosted pots. Where's the image? Is that it? So from Wednesday, I'll be doing them, Wednesday, Saturdays, when Nick's not got one on with Little Birdie. When Nick's on with Little Birdie, I'll be sort of in with him, especially in the Sydney ones. There's the Mighty Sunline. That's not what we're looking for. I think I'll be able to get it to pop up. Donk. Why is it doing that? Yeah, so you just find me on Twitter or Instagram, anywhere you want to find me. But yeah, they've got your mates mode. You head in there. There's more in the bottom right corner through the app. Then mates mode, and then you sort of search for a community, and you've got to pop in the Watch 25. You'll find the hosted pot, but it's $50 max entry. Just a bit of fun, really. Just trying to add a bit more entertainment to a Wednesday, and then I'll do a live stream, same as I do Saturdays, Wednesdays, Saturdays, probably Sunday too, coming from the 20th of September. So first one's Wednesday. Have a bit of fun, bit of a shot at the title. Hopefully there's races on. Cheers, Knuckles. Cheers, Green. Thanks, Posty. There you go. Oh, you put there. That's not bad. I like your work, Saintly. Yeah, it's weird, Jack. I've got no idea why they don't have a desktop version, but it's another thing on the list to chat to them about. Cheers, Laney. See you guys. Got to get to bowling. Hard and tough on a Monday night.
What are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website